Hey guys, welcome back to the Land of the Pharaohs. I'm Sajuuk, and today we're going to be heading into the alternate mission here in the first intermediate period. So in the other part, the previous part, we did Thebes. That was some heavy military. I hope we never have to do that again. Actually, we will be doing something like that again, but not in this mission. So we're going to head over here to Waset, or Thebes, Glory Threatened, which is a nice building mission. We get to build a nice new capital for Egypt to lead us through the first intermediate period.
The old way of life is gone, and most fear that Egypt will never return to its past glory. Osiris has turned his back on the people, and a series of low inundations has caused widespread famine. The power of the pharaohs, once unquestionable, has evaporated, replaced by bickering provincial leaders. Out of this chaos, two noble families have arisen and are attempting to seize control of the country. The rulers of Henenesu have laid claim to the throne as the rightful heirs. They are particularly cruel and are doing little to assuage the people's hunger. To the south, a new family, the Inyotef house, has risen to power in Waset. The family has done much to reunite the south, and now the rulers of Henenesu have engaged the rulers of Waset in a deadly civil war for control of all of Egypt. The Inyotefs, busy fighting the Henenesu rulers, have entrusted you with building up their home city of Waset. If the Inyotefs are to succeed in their fight against the Henenesu rulers and solidify their reputation in Egypt, Waset must be a touchstone on which other cities rely, providing succor or soldiers to those that request aid. Waset, which could be the capital should the Inyotefs reign victorious, must be a great city. Using the scarce resources available to you, build a sun temple and pyramid to show Egyptians the glory of the Inyotefs. Waset itself is not immune to attack. The Henenesu rulers and those loyal to them may threaten your city from time to time, and Henenesu may try to extort Thebans from your city's treasury. To defend against these considerable risks, build a strong army and navy to defend your city and to come to the defense of other threatened cities.
Indeed we will. We'll have to come to defense of places like Thebes in the previous mission. So we have got some goals here. We're still in civil war. We've got 6,000 people. That's actually pretty high. Prosperity 45. Kingdom 70. That's actually quite high too. Culture rating of 55. We now actually have to provide Senate houses. Because if you remember in Dakhla Oasis we needed a culture rating of 50. So we do now need to provide a Senate house somewhere in this city. We're also going to have to build a small pyramid and a sun temple. This is the last time we get to build a sun temple, which is even better. So we're going to continue on hard mode. Let's head to the city. Slow time right down and pause and have a look around this map. So, nice amount of river space over here. Lots of rock. What can we actually... We'll have a look at that in a minute. We've got some meadowland here. A tiny amount of floodplain. We're not going to use floodplain farming on this. There's just not enough space. I mean, there's a bit of floodplain down here, but to get down there you have to zigzag all the way up to... I don't even know if there's a bridge to cross there, actually. No. There's no way to get to this little bit of floodplain here, so it's just this, a little bit there, and potentially a little bit over there, but there's no point worrying about that. We can get a lot more off this meadowland, and there's, I think, fishing on this map too. Yeah, we can fish. We've got grain and figs, so we've got three food types basically. Don't need to import. Lots of coastline space. A nice island here which we could use for warships if we need to build up a bit of military. So up here what we've got a lot of ore. It's actually deceptive. There's only a little bit there and a little bit there. There's all this is just to make it look nice. What have we got for raw materials? Clay pit, plainstone quarry, limestone quarry, granite quarry, gold mine and copper mine. We're gonna need all of that. Unfortunately, you'll have noticed that there is no barley, so we cannot produce our own beer. And there's no reeds, so no reed gathering, there's no flax. So we're going to need some high-level housing. And it's going to have to rely on imports. I don't think, no, we can't actually produce our own flax. We can't produce our own flax. Can't produce our own barley. Neither can we import those raw materials to make those commodities. So, obviously someone must sell that stuff. But let's have a look at trade. Dakhla Oasis here selling sandstone and wood, which is going to be useful. Buy pottery, that's the only thing they buy because we can't produce our own beer or papyrus. Dakhla Oasis buys nothing that we can produce. I mean, we can produce luxury goods by importing gems, but it's not worth it. So that's pretty useless, that trade route. We're not going to waste time with them because they buy things we can't make. Finis here buys some copper and sells 4,000 beer. I think that's the only source of beer on this map. Commune, apparently we have taken them, even though in the previous mission they were trading with us and shut down and all that. Of course he didn't. They sell us 2,500 linen and buy a little bit of pottery. That's the only source of linen. And Manifair sells papyrus and they buy nothing that we can produce. So money on this one's going to be difficult. We've only got really copper and pottery. 5,000 pottery, a little bit of copper, that is pretty bad. We're going to have to rely, I think, on taxes, and most likely I'm going to have to set up gold mines. I'll probably set up copper mines up here because we don't need a bunch of them. We can only produce enough to sell 1,500 a year. But I can produce a lot more gold, sorry. So we are going to use gold mines. We start with 9,000. What's this monument requires? A small pyramid. So you just need a small amount of plain stone and limestone which you can set up in this little gap here. We don't really need manor housing on this one, but I might try to produce some manor housing just to make sure that we can, just in case we need it. We will need some ground forces, so we'll have to set up some military fairly early. We can cross here, I think. Yeah, we can cross here, set up some farms and all that. So this is sort of just going to be a resource area. We're just going to set up farms and the like. I'm not too sure about where I can put a water lift. I can actually put a water lift here and have it connected through the irrigation ditch, which would save me having to put an irrigation ditch across the entire city, which would help. So I'll have to think about that. I'm going to do large blocks on this one. I'm going to do my, the big square 14 by 10 block on this one because there's plenty of space for it. There's not much on this map, but we are going to have to import 3 very expensive commodities. We have to import beer, which is 185 per 100 units, papyrus, which is 200, and linen, which is 210. So we have to make a lot of cash. We're actually just going to put tax rate to 0. So somehow we're going to have to make a lot of cash selling only 1,500 copper a year, 5,000 pottery a year, and most likely a lot of tax. So that's why I'm considering manors, because we can get a lot of tax off of them. So we're going to have to help our people as well. Yeah, we're going to need to import sandstone and make some luxury goods as well anyway, because it's a burial provision. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go and set up a housing block just here. And I'll set up a bit of a farming community as well, maybe a little bit of fishing, since in case we might be asked to send any kind of food to help our citizens, we might need to send anything. Okay, so I'll go and set up our first housing block, add a bit of gold mining, and I'll come back in once I've done it. Okay, so we've got our city set up here, so we're going to have a housing block here, probably another one, maybe just inset a bit. I don't want to get too close to this coastline so I can put all my industry and stuff along this bit. So we'll probably have them just sort of staggered every so often, just to make sure it's not just a plain line of housing blocks because that's boring. So we will inset them a little bit. This also just gives me the space, as I said, to put down all the things like docks, granaries, and all those rather unsightly buildings. Gods on this one are Osiris, Ra, Bast, Ra's the patron. And what I'm going to have is I'm going to have 6 gold mines producing all the gold that we need. We are going to have to rely on gold mines on this one. Largely because our exports are not that good. And this is sort of a point in the game where exports sort of stop being as useful as they used to be. Like in all the other missions in the Old Kingdom, exports were plentiful and there was always usually a nice supply of them. There was usually enough trade routes and all that. But this marks a point, well, it was sort of marked from Rostra really. The exports stopped being viable. They are viable, but there's always a lot less of it than there usually is. So we're going to have a housing block here, another one just a little inset, and then maybe another one inset a bit more. I'm not too sure about manors. I will probably, if I set up a manor block, I'll do it over here, because then I can just do own grain, own figs, and a little bit of fishing just to supplement it. We'll probably go for, if I'm going for manors, probably 6 or 8 stately manors if I can produce them. Because I don't think we can import a luxury good. No, we can only export, so... And yeah, it's not really worth exporting it, but we have to set up some luxury goods anyway because it is a burial provision. In terms of this monument, I'm not too sure where I'm going to put it. The small temple can probably... The small pyramid, rather, may just go out in the desert or something, I'm not too sure. I will have this little block connected to these houses, but this little bit up here will probably just be a bit of feeder housing, just its own little mining community. We'll probably have copper mines and a bit of plainstone and limestone, because I don't think this monument requires very much. I'm just going to put it down. It doesn't cost anything, I'll just put it there. Yeah, it just needs 48 blocks of plainstone and 192 blocks of limestone, which... it actually costs money to delete that, apparently, and that's taking off money, apparently. I'm not too sure about that. Let me just delete it. It's not going to go there. So I'm going to just set up... we don't need a huge amount of limestone, so I will just set up maybe a couple of plainstone quarries, a couple of limestone quarries up next to the copper mines to produce our weapons. So we are going to have to produce weapons and start making a military. I won't start putting down anything else until we start getting our gold mines running so that I can be assured of money. And once we've got that going, we can then go into our military fairly early. We are probably going to need to send off troops. I'll probably set up the military up here. So yeah, I'm just going to let this run, and I'm going to come back in once our housing is all stabilised with our money running. Okay, so we've got our gold mining running quite nicely here. They're all producing a nice amount of gold, which is going to give us money. And up here I've just set up the little loop that I'm going to need for setting up copper mining, because we are going to need to start mining copper to start producing our military. And since we're getting pretty much free money all the time, this has got back up to 4,000 again, employees needed. I have filled out this block with all the housing it's going to need, and this money is going to allow us to get into copper mining. I want to focus on... Actually, no. We're going to leave that there, and I'm not going to give it a well, there's no point. What I need to do is I need to put down a ferry landing here. Now, the reason for that is that we are going to need to... Let's just see, 1, 2... I'm going to need to just set up a bit of a 1, 2... yeah, sort of like that. I'm going to set up a bit of a loop here. It's going to have its own little feeder house. We are going to need a few feeder houses, I think, on this one, because we are going to have so much stuff now. If that's there, I don't need this little extension down here. I mean, I'm going to set up a fishing area, but I'll probably set up disconnected and have getting granules to bring it up closer. If I'm going to inset this, I'm going to have a road sort of... I'm not sure where, but I'm going to have a road somewhere near there. But I'll think about that later. So we're going to have a bit of an industry dump here. We're going to have pretty much all the stuff that we're ever going to need around this area. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's wide enough. It's not like it's going to need too much, because we can't really put down many industries. It's literally just storage yards is all we need. Because we have to import everything. I think trade comes from the south maybe? And X is in the north, I'm not too sure. I don't really pay attention too much, but we have got some gold mining going. We've made 1800 in gold mining, which is going to have to sustain us on this one. What we are going to do though is we're going to put down a little house there, because they'll always pass it. Then a couple of firehouses, architects posts, and a police station there. We're also going to need to put down a physician. That can go right there. We're actually just going to have an extra architect's post and firehouse right there. So we've got that set up. We're going to need to get food going early, because I do expect food requests to come in. If it's for something like fish, we're probably not going to meet it, and that's going to be pretty annoying. I will set the farms off camera, because that's going to be quite boring. So yeah, we're just going to let this run, start to fill up our housing block quite nicely, maybe get a bit of copper mine. There's so much to do on this map, we've got a lot to do. We've got to get our money going as well, which we have got, but I don't want to rely too much on gold mining. I do want to get some exports running. So yeah, I'm just going to let this run. I'm going to come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, so we've got our farming area set up here. I'm just going to have 2 lines with 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of farms, and that's going to be producing literally all we ever need, with one house doing this little trick where the houses are on one side and there's only people walking backwards and forwards. And over here I've set up pretty much all our distribution. We're going to have figs, well, grain going in one, figs going in the other, and one granary just accepting half and half. We actually have 2 granaries for each food so that they can always get up there. We are going to try and get high level housing on this one. We can do it, it's fairly easy. And we've got all the money coming in, so let's just go ahead and put down 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Now I could make bricks. That is actually a viable export on this mission, because we can sell, what's that, 2,500 bricks. Let's see. Yeah, we can sell a couple of bricks. We could make some just for export. Not too sure though. I won't do it right now. We will just turn off straw. If I am needing money, I will set up a brick industry because we do have clay pits and we do have grain farms, so we might as well. So we've got some farms here. This is going to produce more than the floodplain would. The floodplain would only produce a very small amount of the amount that we can get off this meadowland, so we're going to be meadow farming on this one. The gold's coming in pretty much as quickly as it can be produced, but making so much. Got some copper stockpiling, which is actually very useful. But our first order of the day is to evolve our housing, and I'll come back in once we're ready to start distributing some food. We're not going to be giving that to our people. That's not enough.
And I can't find any workers to...
Okay, so I've set up another housing block here. We are just short of so many workers that our industries are not working as effectively as I would like. I've also set up a couple of weaponsmiths just to make sure that we can start producing some weapons for our military when we get the money. This block here I could put down very easily because I make the money back in gold mining. And over here our farms are having a little bit of difficulty getting access to workers, but that's okay. It's just because of the labour issues which are solving themselves over time with this new housing block. Once this block is all evolved and we've got enough food, I'll start to distribute food to one of the blocks, allowing us to start working on other industries. I am thinking about fishing. Fishing will be done. And what I'll do is to save on space so I don't need another little dump of houses. 1,000 people. I'm going to have fishing wharfs all along this section here, all the way down to as far as I can. I will have to put some fishing wharfs down here and a couple of warships as well. But what I'll do is I will have fishing wharfs here, and then the road behind it, because I'll have this like the fishing wharf there. There'll be a road here, and along the gap behind it will be clay pits. And then I can set up a little bit of a pottery dump somewhere else, like here or something. Because they're always going to be able to pass houses, so it doesn't matter if I like roadblock a section and have them go a different way, it's going to be fine. So we're just going to stockpile on the food first. We need to get the food in before we can actually start distributing it to anyone. So I'm just going to come back in once we're ready to start feeding our people, because that's the next task. Oh, what's this? The people of Phyllis are losing hope, for famine has struck them, and its people are starving. I thought they had plenty of chickpeas. Anyway, I've got to send 1,100 buckets of fish within 12 months. Well, that's not very useful because I don't have a fishing industry. But you can just see right down here I have just started planning for it. So I had a suspicion that we might be asked for fish, and we were proven right. So how much unemployment do we have? We have a lot. So let's put down this shipwright right here. There is a crocodile here which I'm going to have to sterilise with a tower, which is not very useful. Let's see, where can I put this? Let us put a tower... here, let's put it there. I will have to link up the copper area, which is unfortunate. One thing to note is I have opened up the trade route to Finis, and they're going to start buying up copper, which will give us some money. Unfortunately, it's not a lot, it's only 1,500. I thought they were in more desperate need of copper than that, but never mind. I will have to just do a quick connection over here, just to allow the recruiter to send out a dude all the way down here to this. And once I have got that staffed, I will remove this link, and then they don't need it again. So we're going to have to set up our fishing industry. That's 48. So let's just put down 1, 2, 3. So we'll have basically fishing wharfs all the way down here. I will have a place to put down a... yeah, so the croc is causing some issues. Let's set up this to accept fish for that request. So that's 3 fishing wharfs should produce 3, 6, 9, 12 fairly quickly in that time. So we sold out all the copper. That's given us a lot of money, which is going to be good. How much has that given us? So about 2,800 a year we can get from exporting copper. That's all we can export without setting up pottery and bricks. So we are going to have to set up other industries. Our farms are going quite well. I did expand them as well, which is going to provide us some food. Once this harvest comes in, I will start to feed the people. That's not too much. We do get 2 harvests of grain, so it's not a big deal. Can I put... I mean, I could put the ship right there and move this out 1, because it's only going to be 1 thing there. That's working. So that's good. So I can now delete this link, because he's got his access. Like so. So it's weird, because the sentry walks cross-country to the tower, but they need a road connection to it. So I think that's a leftover from Caesar 3 when you do need the road connection. I don't think that road connection is supposed to be there, but it's fine. So yeah, we're just going to meet that request. I'll do that off camera, you don't need to really see that. It's sort of a very generic request. It's just fish or grain or something to finish over and over. The odd other requests as well. Not too much. Most of the requests are to finish. But we're going to start feeding our people, and I'll come back in once we have started to do that. Okay, so we're starting to train up our military. We had a whole load of money, so I just put down 2 forts, one each for infantry and archers. Since we're not going to be attacked directly on this mission, it's only a little bit of naval invasion, which we can sort out with a little bit of warships down there, which is not going to be too problematic. I'm not really going to be too concerned about the type of military force that I develop. I'm going to try and just sort of do more of an equal spread, so 3 archers, 3 infantry, because there's no reason to worry about land forces on this one. Unless somehow some of their troops land, which I doubt, it won't be a problem. I've moved this warehouse over here just so I can have some space to set up housing blocks and all that. And also allows me to put down maybe an extra tower, which I think is going to be needed. Let us just put down a tower there. And I'm going to have to do that connection again, which is going to be very annoying. Let's just do this quick connection. Roadblock, roadblock. I'll have 2 towers here, and this bit can just be a connecting wall, like so. There. It'll keep this guy under control without him killing everyone constantly, because that's really annoying. Come on, just kill the dude. Please. That'd be nice. There. So we're not going to have any clay pits here, but we will have clay pits pretty much anywhere else that I can fit them, like there. And down this long bit here as well, just as much as I can. And up here we'll have pottery production. Over here I've expanded my fig production as well. We can actually just use the opportunity to now expand grain production. So that's that line basically completed. I can't put any more farms there, as far as I can tell. Can I put one right on the end? No, so that's okay. So the next load of farms is going to have to go over here, which is fine. There's plenty of farm space. We've got enough food to support 7,000 people, more than enough. We just need to expand our production so there's not too much of a shortage, which is going to be fine. We've got all 3 food types nicely stockpiled over here. We're ready to evolve the housing at any time. This is not going to be too much of a difficult mission. I did send off that fish in time, which they helped. They were gladly appreciative of it, which is going to be good. So yeah, just going to let the military grow up, build up. Hopefully we'll get some military requests soon, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Ooh, what's this? Because Henenesu lusts for glory, the city of Henenesu demands that I send 884 D-bids in 18 months. That's actually a really long time to debate whether I should give in to the extortion. It doesn't actually do anything on this map, it actually just causes your kingdom rating to go down a bit. So I might send it, I might not. We've got like 8,000 anyway, it's not too much of a problem. Meanwhile, while that came up, I have set up all of this housing now to go up to Ordinary Cottage, giving us plenty more people coming into the city. And I'm just using the opportunity with the money I've got to just beautify the whole city, just give them everyone access to everything they need. This mission's not that difficult at all, it's literally just build a big city with a few events. We are actually just going to increase wages up to 36 and give them 10% taxes, which should be more than enough. You should be happy with that. Military's nicely developed. We'll put down another fort as well. In fact, we'll just put down another inventory fort just there. We'll just have them out here because I'm not going to build anything here. I'm only going to build like the monuments and such. I might actually put the small pyramid. Well, I would have put the small pyramid there if I had fitted it in, but it won't fit there. I will probably put the small pyramid in the sun temple around this area here. But the sun temple would look nice there. It's unfortunate that the causeway is not aligned like that, but never mind. Yeah, I'll find a place to put these monuments. It's not a concern right now. Meanwhile, we're producing pottery. I could start setting up this as an export. We've got plenty of clay pits. I might have to bring the potters down a bit or put some more clay pits up in this area because there's not that much space. It's quite distant as well, which is not too helpful either. So yeah, I'm going to consider setting off that request for that extortion. I'm not too sure. It really won't do very much to our city. It'll just plummet our kingdom rating a bit, which I can get back very easily without too much difficulty. So yeah, just going to keep on going, feed our people, and I'll come back in if there's anything of interest that happens. Okay, so I have decided that rather than giving in to Henenesu's demands, which I could easily meet, it's only 900 demons out of, what, 10,000? I'm not going to fulfill it because we did that in the last mission of Finis. Only because we had to, but here we don't really need to do that because no trade routes are going to shut down. So we're just going to ignore their demands and continue with building our city, just fight against them. So in preparation of that, I have set up a little area here to import some wood from Dunkel Oasis, which we're importing a little bit of. We're also going to sell them pottery when I stockpile a bit more. And down here I have colonised this little island here where we can put down all the warships we need. We could probably fit another 2 and then we'll be fine. I've also expanded our fishing stuff down here as well. Unfortunately this guy here does have to walk a bit of a distance and he may be disconnected and I may just make him part of a block that's over here or something. We'll also stockpiling granite. It seems odd to give us granite when there's no use for it in the city. I mean, it's not a burial provision and no one buys it as far as I know. Let's just have a quick look. No one buys it, so it's sort of weird that they would give you granite when there's no use for it in the city. So I'm going to stockpile it just in case someone asks for it. Might as well. And yeah, we're going to start evolving the housing as well. Got these up to spacious homes. And I do need to import beer, but I don't feel as if I've got the money to support that just yet. I may want to increase wage rates just a little bit more and just sort of get the taxes going a bit better. We are mining plenty of gold and selling what we can, but our exports are pretty limited to basically 1500 copper and maybe just a little bit of pottery that we can sell to a couple of trade cities. I may want to get into a brick industry, I think. Since we are we're getting a lot more clay than we need. And I could make use of the straw to make a load of bricks. I could even do that down here and maybe put a dock down here or something, or just have the industry up here. I'm not too sure yet how I'm going to do it. We can actually just expand on our pottery production. We don't have a lot sitting around, so let us just... even if this guy spawns here, he will touch some houses, which will be fine. In fact... yes, so battle cries can be heard throughout Hedonesu as it prepares to destroy your city. Send 884 demons to them as soon as you can, and they may show some mercy. I'm not going to, so we don't care. In fact, I'm just going to delete that roadblock because you guys don't really wander very far. You're only going up and down one bit, so we can just let you wander. So let's just do another bunch of them here. And we can also just put down more clay pits, I think, just to get that supply flowing quite nice. I'm actually going to delete this and move it down. Yeah, that allows me one more in there. You can see here that there was a little bit of feeder housing that I had just here. I have deleted it, moved it here, so now I have one bit of feeder housing covering 2 sections of coastline, which is a bit more efficient. And that way we don't have to run into any issues with it. These will get access to workers eventually. It just means I don't have to have a load of some housing 2 there and 2 here to cover this whole stretch. This works better. And everyone's got access to the housing because they're always passing 2 tiles, which is all we need. So yeah, we're just going to keep on going. I may actually move this down a little bit. Let's just check on our gods. Rat is a bit displeased. I will want to do a bit of a shrine dump for him, I think. Let's just actually do one right now. Let's just do 4. And we can do another little bit of a shrine dump like so. So there we go. So we've got enough shrines to keep them all happy. And actually I might want a couple of extras. Places just around the city. I might do one there and one there as well. Okay, so we're just going to keep on going. There's not really much to do here. I'm going to expand on our farming capacity as well. I'm concerned that this road here might not reach these houses. If they don't, I'm going to have to put some extra housing over here and probably move this position to somewhere else. It depends on how I place these farms, if I can get them right up to there or not. We are producing plenty of food though, so it's not too big of a concern right now. And yeah, we are low on food here, but there's always a nice big supply that comes in. We are feeding people fish, which is going to keep everyone nice and stable. This box is sort of run out of food. But anyway, we're going to keep on going, and I'm going to come back in if anything of interest happens. I might even expand on our military as well. Okay, so it looks as if we're going to have to send some troops somewhere to a long-standing feud at Finis. We've got 10 months to send. What level of troops? 9 months. For a small force, that's not too big of a deal. We have more than enough. Once this fort fully trains up, I'll send everyone. Because we should be able to get another, what's this, 6 troops in 10 months or so, which should be fine. Down here I am putting down yet another housing block. And this will cover us for all of our needs for common for common housing. If I want more to sort of control unemployment, I will set up a manor area, which we'll probably be doing. So let's just put these in. 2 of those and this. There we go. We're not going to tax these people just yet, we don't need to do that, and I don't see the point. How much people can we support? This finished request just comes around every so often for food. We can send, oh, we can't send that off, we don't have enough grain. But we are just about to get the harvest nicely. Put down more farms. I've also put down a little bit of stuff here because the guys here were just not reaching anywhere near this house, so there's no point in that. In terms of beautification, what I may do is just a roadblock here and have them just always go up near those 2 houses like so. And you should be fine. Where are you going? You're going to have to go and get pottery, that's not too big of a deal. And we'll have a different person coming down this bit. There's the grain. Let's send that off before we upset anyone. And what I can have in here is sort of like little industries and all that. Because this space is getting quite tight and it's quite far from where I've got my clay pits, this space here will be used for pottery and brickworks, because then it'll keep it away from here. I may have a little bit up here supported by its own set of clay pits. Just for export or something, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to try and move it all down into this space here, keeps it all away from this area, and just gives me more space to expand and all the stuff, so I've got plenty of space down here too. 4 warships should be enough. I may expand that later, but it's not a priority right now. So yeah, we're going to keep on going. I'll come back in at once. Actually, we might just send those troops off now. Let's just save. And we'll just send what we've got. They're military trained and they should come back just fine. If not, I will reload and just wait a bit longer. So yeah, we're just going to keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Oh, would you look at that? The troops we sent off to Finis returned. Let's just see how depleted they are. We lost 1 in basically every fort. Not too bad. And we also put down another fort as well, just to use up the stuff there. I am moving things around, trying to get the pottery down here and expanding our clay production quite significantly. And trying to put it down here. And up here, what I'm going to have is I'm going to have clay pits, but the clay pits are going to be supporting a brickwork industry. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. And these should be enough to cover this. We don't probably need that there. We should be enough with that. Because our troops capably dispatched to 4, our kingdom rating's gone up. Perfect. Can I get a... I'm actually going to delete that. And set this to be a clay pit. So I have enough clay pits up here to support brick making. Which will go in here because we can only export them. We can only... yeah, we can only sell like a little bit of bricks to Men Nefer, so there's no point putting it somewhere out of range where they're not going to have any use. I'm not sure if this is a bug. Hopefully it doesn't mess up anything having them in 2 different areas. It just seems to, so it's okay. It's not in this like little corner here I can put down a booth and all that. I'm going to try and put down booths in more natural locations and see if it works. Since we're getting some issues with labour, we're going to evolve this housing area. What's our housing like? 85, which is 5%, not too bad. But I do want to grow our population a bit more. We will need some manor housing, I feel. And we're probably going to get attacked soon because that request for money failed. We didn't send off any money at all, which is going to be okay because we want to aggravate the enemy. I think we've got more than enough clay pits, so we should be able to support all these potters, and possibly a little bit more. I'm not too sure because these clay pits take up more clay than potters do. Even though it's the same amount, they go through it a lot quicker. Anyway, I'm going to just keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, so because you knowingly courted danger when you refused to send 884 demons to Herenesu, an Egyptian army is going to attack in 2 months. Now, I do know... I will just save. I do know that these are just some very small waterborne attacks. We should be able to defeat them with our warships, so we're just going to move them up. I know where they come from. They come from the north. It's just 2 small invasions, and that's about it for military on this map. So I may even just delete the warships later, but this little bit of force should be enough to defeat a very small invasion. Money's going up, which is good. We're starting to evolve this housing block as well. which is going to get our labour shortage under control. We do have problems feeding people at the moment, but that's okay. I hope you're within range of all this stuff. I think you should be within range of at least fish. If you're walking a bit too far, I may bring one of the things down here. Maybe just feed this only on one type, while feeding all of this on two types. One thing we are going to start on though, is we're going to, just yeah, 1 month, that's fine. That's 2 shrines, let's just see, that's a Bastion Osiris. So what we're going to do is move that somewhere else. Since we can't put a clay pit there, we're just going to put Osiris and Bast right there. And in this space right here, what we're going to have, if we just speed up times, this is going to be a yard accepting beer. So we're going to import beer. We'll start to import a little bit. We'll start to import enough to maintain 1600. And we may start to distribute it a little bit to our citizens as we can. Let's actually just put down 2 of these. And start to provide dancer access to everyone. And yes, we'll have papyrus and linen here. Because linen is going to be needed, I may want to move that to a yard here. In which case I could just use this space for storage yards for other things, or booze and all that kind of stuff. I'm not too sure. I will have to get started on making some plain stone, which we can do now. Let's just see. Where can I put some plain stone? See, the problem is I've sort of blocked this bit in. But I suppose I could just put down a little 2x2 hut over here. And just sort of do a zigzag road all around this bit. To this area here. We could do that, I suppose, but I'll think about that later because we're going to just get through this invasion first. Let's just do 2 of these. Yeah, we could do that. Let's just do a roadblock there. Egyptian army attacks. I mean, it's a very small attack. It's 1 warship and 1 transport. What we've got should be more than enough to defeat this very, very small invasion. This is the level of military on this map. Not much. We'll just move everyone back very quickly just to get them out of the way. I mean, that wasn't very much. A little bit of damage, that's all it was taken. Oops, one of them was actually needing repaired. So yeah, we just took a very small amount of hull damage on our warships, and that's pretty much the level of military, as I said on this mission. It's just a little bit of fighting, and that's about it. It's not very big. That request will come around again. I'm not going to show the invasion entailed within that because it is absolutely no point. So yeah, I'll just keep on going and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. At this point, I'm just going to try and stockpile some plain stone and start to build the small pyramid. This is a rather sneaky request from Phyllis. They're asking for 700 copper in 18 months. We've got plenty of time to fulfill that, but we do have the copper. Over here, as you can see, I'm pretty much set up all the limestone and stuff that we're going to need to build the pyramid. And over here, I will just sort of dump like industries, like a couple of work camps. So I'll have 3 work camps, and they can go and clear this small pyramid, which I am going to put. I'm not sure where to put this, to be honest. I don't want to put it down here the way the city, because then it doesn't look very good. What I will do is put down the small pyramid right there. It just needs a small amount of plain stone, so 2 of these should fill up 1 of these without any problem at all. And 4 of these should fill this up not bad either. So I'll go clear off this thing here. I might try to stabilise our housing and evolve it with beer. We are short by a heck of a lot of people, so that's actually probably something we're going to consider. Let's just put this up to 3,200. We might actually start to tax more people, so let's put down this tax collector. It looks as if this guy is, this bizarre lady is not getting access to all the food she needs. So let's just bring down some additional food. Let's make it grain. We'll not give her access to figs. Let's just have her buy grain, which could be a bit closer. You apparently have no workers for some reason. How odd. Let's just have a look. If we've got a roadblock there, we do. So you should be able to get access to... Oh, it's because you keep walking down here. That's a problem. You're not walking up to these houses. What I can do is this one in the middle, which is not getting access to anything. You want buckets of fish again. That's not too much of a deal. We've got plenty. Kingdom rating's there. Prosperity's going to get there as well, as is culture and all that. We're going to delete that and put the houses here instead. Is that what I want to do? No. I need to have some houses up here anyway. I'll have to put them there. And sort of running into space problems in here. Right, I'm going to actually just extend the road down here, actually. Like so. We'll have a bit of housing there. We'll delete that. And what we'll have is, instead of that being there, we will have little bits of housing there. That will be roadblocked in there, as it should be. And we'll just shorten this a little bit, like so. Then we'll have a physician in there. We've got a firehouse and all that, so it's fine. Just put a police station in there. Not the most elegant solution, I know, but I'm going to just try and use up all the coastline space as best as I can, and we'll make something of it. So yeah, just going to keep on going, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. I'll probably build down the last infantry fort as well once this is fully stockpiled. In fact, it apparently already is. So I'll put down one more fort and complete off our military. And I'm just going to keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, so we're continuing to build this city. Going quite well. We hit 5,000 people. The monument is now nicely coming on. Just needs a little bit more plain stone and a little bit more limestone. It's not too big of a deal. I did actually get a punishment from Ra. He lowered my kingdom rating a little bit. Not too much. And that was all. I didn't just spam a bunch of shrines. I'm going to probably put down this temple complex somewhere. I could probably just put it there. I mean, once this monument is complete, I can just box that in and then I can just put a little bit there. So let's just move that roadblock to there. And we will have the temple complex right there, which I'll do just fine. I'm going to have to sort of worry about trying to import enough sandstone. And we'll probably do that once this small pyramid is done. We are going to need a hell of a lot more people. We have 5% unemployment, but I would rather have that a lot higher. So I could consider setting up a bit of a noble block over here, which we are going to do. This has been cut, so this the fishing wharf it will be part of a little bit on this island to support that, and we'll have some getting grounds and all that kind of stuff. I will set up a noble block. I might as well, because I'm going to have to do it quite often in the Middle Kingdom anyway to control unemployment. It also looks good. It also looks very good in this city. So everyone getting up there. I'm just trying to evolve the housing as quickly as I can, but not so quickly it makes everything go out of control. Tax rate is pretty good. We're getting about 10,000 a year, and that's from paying extortionate taxing on the city. Let's put this up to 14% and see how much they hate it, but we'll find out. Culture is the other problem. Now, you don't actually need to get up to the level of providing schools for prosperity, but here's the clinch. The catch here is that the culture rating requires linen and papyrus, so you do have to import them, and even if you don't distribute it to schools in this area, you still have to provide them. So we are going to have to put down scribal schools, and they're like all over the city. We can actually just put them down right now. All these buildings, they're not going to actually contribute anything to culture because they don't have the raw resource just yet. And we're not going to provide linen just yet. We're just going to provide them out to spacious residence, and if I need to, I'll go a bit higher. So this monument's getting there, and the carpenter is a bit slow in getting sent out, but he's coming up now to do his thing, which is okay. And yeah, once the monument's done, I will get rid of all this plainstone and limestone crap. And then we'll work on stockpiling sandstone, which I could do just around here. Battle cries is okay. There was another extortion, which I am now ignoring, of course. And we can stockpile all the sandstone around this area here. There's enough space to put down 7 of them, and we can import all that there. More than enough pottery is getting into the system, which is perfect. We'll stockpile a lot more pottery up here so we can start selling it to Commune, because we're going to have to open up trade with them to get linen. So yeah, just going to keep on going, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. I'm not going to come back in for that battle, there's no point. I may actually need to consider expanding my grain production. We do not have enough grain in stockpile, so I may consider doing that as well. Well, that's a bit annoying. I've just been planning out a bit more here, and it looks as if we need to stockpile 16 weapons. I've forgotten actually that we need to actually stockpile weapons for a burial provision. Since we have the opportunity to do that right now, let's just put this down. To accept weapons, we'll put down... let's just move this well. It's not really contributing anything because I don't think it's going to evolve the housing. But let's just put down A couple more weaponsmiths and stockpile weapons in the yard, we might as well. I did bump back on the copper production because we can only sell like 1500 copper a year, so there's not really a reason to stockpile too much of it. Military's getting up there as well. Other than a little bit of extortion, we're not really doing too much. Moving things down around down here because I do want to get more farms in. I think that's more than enough grain farms. 22. One of them is idle partly. I don't think it's getting access to... Yeah, this middle one here's not got access to workers yet, but it will soon. I'm not too sure if these guys can get around to those houses. If they can't get around to there, then I'll leave this house, but I think I'll just leave them like that. I don't think the water lift burns. It doesn't, okay. So this is not connected to anything, it's just in this little space here that we've got this stuff. I'm not too sure if I'll provide free food types to our stately manors that we may have. Simply because you don't need 3 food types to get up to stately manor, it's only 2 food types to get up there. But I'll think about that, and because I might even need to use some of this floodplain for use over here, but I'll think about those things, don't worry. I do want a nice big culturist city here. I want to prove that we can build a large and lovely, beautiful city. Culture's held partly by the musicians. These seem to contribute to culture, even though they don't actually have any, they're not actually working, which is interesting. We've got like 50,000 Thebes, we're selling off bricks because we have no use for them. I may open up the treasure to commune and start importing the linen and start distributing it to mortuaries and all that. And maybe papyrus too. But yeah, we're just going to keep on going and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, so our small pyramid is nearly complete, it's just needing a little bit more limestone, which is all in the yard, so we can just delete all of that. Over here, and an Egyptian army is attacked. I did get warned about this, but I've put everything in position anyway. It's just another 1 warship, 1 transport attack, so it's not really worth talking about. I mean, I could just quickly speed this up, and let's not allow them to attack that. Come on, there we go. And everyone's fine, so it's not too big of a deal, that. Just a little bit of hull damage, not too big of a deal. And just down here, I am setting up the area for my noble quarters. I don't really need them. I'm just going to do it just to help with the prosperity and, of course, the eventual unemployment problems we're going to have. But we do have to start considering importing sandstone now, which is going to take a little while. I should have done this a lot earlier, but I think it will be fine. If I can get Ra's blessing, no, we don't. We can get 40 a year, so that's basically 5 and a bit years. So it's not too big of a deal. Because I have put down the Ra Temple Complex, which is going to help as well, keep him happy. And it seems as if he's not happy enough. We might need to give him a festival just to keep him even happier. We've got no problems with food now. And yeah, we don't really have any issues now with supporting the city. I have put down schools and distributed papyrus here. So we now have 2 blocks of spacious residences. This block will go the same way once I get to that point. Got enough military now, we don't need to really worry too much about it. That monument is nearly complete, which I'm not going to show a completion of, you know what the message is. So yeah, I'm just going to keep on going. At this point, really, I just need to concentrate on meeting the goals. The 2 sort of civil war aspects are past, and now it's just about meeting our culture, prosperity, and monument and population targets as well. Okay, so we're being asked to send us some more troops to a long-standing feud at Thebes. Basically 2 years, 23 months to send how much of a force? A small force. Well, I mean, we could just send off everyone because we have absolutely no use for this military and that will dominate. Over here we are setting up our manors area. I'm just actually going to turn the map around so we have them all facing inward. Money is no object. The pyramid is complete, so that's fine. Don't really care. I'm just going to spam some statues. I could use the little cat ones, but I'm not going to in this case. So we'll have 8 stately manors and probably more than enough population over here. If I need to, I'll just evolve this block too. And 1, 2, 3. So this is my sort of preferred block for elite housing. All the houses on the outside with everything in the centre. It'll look perfect. So let's just put down 1 house in every single little square here. Like so. We'll do that, that, and that. And you can just buy all this stuff. And we'll import some gems from Dunkel Oasis because we can import gems. Don't think anyone sells luxury goods. No one sells luxury goods, we just have to import that directly. Let's just delete that a little bit there. I've set this up in a certain way, so this this storage yard is going to accept 3/4 grain and get up to 1/4 papyrus, because the grain's only for use in this granary. This here is going to be filling up to 1/4 of pottery because we're going to make it locally, and getting beer. And this one's going to be getting linen and filling up to a 1/4 of luxury goods. So let's just put down 2 of these, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just do 4 like that. There you go. And then I'll just do a bit of a... actually, let's not. I may move these houses somewhere else or something, I'm not too sure just yet. We're going to have to stockpile some luxury goods. I can actually just do that on this island. What am I talking about? It's no problem at all because it takes so long to make. Let's import, say, 600 gems. We have 1, 2, 3. That'll be more than enough, and they can just sort of stockpile very slowly into this yard. And the amount of time it'll take them to get over there and back, they won't even have produced the next amount, so that's not big of a problem. More than enough farms along here. Now we have, we're gonna have shit tons of grain to feed all these people, which is going to be fine. And let's just put down all the amenities we need. We've got 73,000 D-bins. I think we're going to have no problems at all providing for our citizens on this one. Just put this in. Make sure it's not going to mess up my design plans. It does, just slightly. Let's just move this along by 1. And then do this. You can just casually walk through the buildings then, I suppose. We'll just put down a dentist and a police station. So how this style works is that we're going to have a building there, a building there, a building there, and then the library right there. So we're going to get these all up to the right level. We're going to do... How we're going to do this is we're going to get rid of this little statue that was just used as a marker point. We're going to have tall, and then every so often we're going to have the low one. That's not right. We'll have that, that, and that. And then we can just turn this around. And let's just make sure these are aligned. It's going to look better if we have it aligned. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. There. And that should provide almost all the desirability we're ever going to need on this map. So you need to just go out and buy some food. I hope you're going to do that soon. I hope I'm not going to run into this silly bug where it doesn't spawn the person, but we'll see. So I'm just going to go and evolve this elite block because that'll provide us everything we need. We can actually just make sure this is not bugging out. Because I know there's a bit of a bug with this block. I'm not too sure if it's just something to do with the block or something else. But she's going to have to go and get some food now. She got, what was that? Fish, was it?
These goods will make
she got grain, okay. And we can just put down the scribal school. I'm going to have to import some linen anyway, but we're doing fine. We're doing good. We're actually short on workers, which is not too good. So I'm going to have to evolve our housing a bit more, which is going to require us to import some pottery, but that's not a big deal right now. So yeah, I'm just going to keep on going, and I'll come back if anything of interest happens. Okay, so we've got our elite block up to fancy residents. They do need access to jewellery, and I've been putting up evolving this just because we had a bit of an unemployment problem. We couldn't get enough unemployment, but we do now. Now, I should correct myself. I think at some point I just have been saying that I've never built a manor block before. I did once in Salima Oasis, but that wasn't a serious effort. That was just to control unemployment on that one because we had the opportunity to do that. But that was only low level, but we're going to evolve right up into nice, stately manors. We are going to need to put down this Senate house, which is rather undesirable, but we can put it right at the back here, and then just sort of flank it with low statues like that. It actually looks quite nice. We're also going to have to put down a library, and a mortuary as well. So let's just put all of these buildings down. I think I've actually just made this block a little bit too big. Actually no, I suppose it works this way as well. I'm not too bothered, so we're going to get luxury goods into this block. Problems with linen, I don't seem to be getting enough. I only get 2,500 a year. We've actually capped that out already. So I have, you might have just noticed there, I put down a festival square. We're going to hold some festivals to Ra in the off chance he might get happy enough and give us a trade boost for a little while and increase our linen production. Well, increase our linen imports, rather, because we can only import that. But if we have a look at our things, it does cost a lot to import linen, but we make like 40,000 a year, mostly in taxes and a little bit in exports. I mean, taxes are literally through the roof. Exports earn 13,000 and a little bit of mine gold. Apart from a bit of construction, we are importing and just paying wages. So taxes literally cover everything. If we did export or mine, we would be sort of holding steady, but I wouldn't want to do that. So you guys are going off to go and get luxury goods. If you've got luxury goods, you have. And the luxury goods are getting made down here, some imported gems. Not a requirement of the mission. I suppose we do have to make some luxury goods for a burial provision anyway, so we might as well do it. And you've spawned in the wrong place again. Here we go, we've got a common manor. And they do need access to, I think one of the, yeah, there they go, the guys going round. They've got access to libraries needed, which is spawned. So these are all going to nicely evolve, and that's us getting unemployment problems. There we go. Elegant manor. Stately manor. And for the most part, unless a mission requires like Bubasis, I'm not going to go above Stately Manor. Stately Manor is more than enough. And to evolve higher, it needs another luxury good. So the way this works is that you can make your own jewellery, which counts as one luxury good from imported gems or locally produced gems. But to get any higher than this, you're going to have to import. You can't just import something like luxury goods, like jewellery from an Egyptian city. You're going to have to source that from a non-Egyptian city. So Dunkel Oasis and Darkle Oasis count as Egyptian cities, so you have to get it from somewhere like Salim Oasis, Icon, or any other city that's on the map like Byblos, or just somewhere that's not Egypt, basically. And Sinai counts as Egypt, by the way. So there we go, we're going to have 8 stately manors once they all stabilise and get access to the stuff. I may need to evolve the housing and put down another housing block because we are short by a shit ton of workers, but more people are coming in, and I'll eventually be able to gut most of this. In fact, we can just gut it now. Let's get rid of all of this. We've got all our military, we don't need any more. And I could cut back on brick production, we're not really making that much. We are short on pottery actually, which is interesting enough. We might need to expand on our pottery production. Let's just do that. 4 more potters, that should be more than enough. And yeah, there's our first nice elite block there of stately manors. Have you got access to juggler? You have a musician. Do you have a dancer? Apparently you do, but you're just teleporting all over the place. Hopefully you'll go up there as well. So yeah, there we go. We've got 8 stately manors. Might actually bump some of these off if they're starting to cause problems with unemployment, but that's okay. We're well through the population target. We didn't need to get to 7,000, but we have. Prosperity's going up. Culture's met. I just had to complete the Sun Temple, so I'll come back in once the Sun Temple is complete. Okay, so the Sun Temple is nearly complete. Just took a bit of importing of sandstone. We really need another 12 blocks for the little tower that goes on at the end. I'm just waiting for the guy to get down here, and here he is here. So while he's doing that, let's have a look over the city. So here we started with our 3 housing blocks. More famine, I don't need to worry about that. And here along the coast, basically all of our industry's skirting it, and it looks quite nice and compact. We're importing pretty much everything we can. Unfortunately, there's a limit to how much linen that we can get. Unfortunately, we max this out so quickly, and these guys I don't think can completely stay stable on hard mode because of it. But I think these guys, yeah, the bazaars still have quite a bit of linen in stockpile. This one doesn't, which is a problem, but it's not too big of a problem. If I had Bast's temple complex or Osiris's temple complex, it would probably be okay. All the ratings met. It's just a little bit of weapons, pottery and luxury goods we need to send off once this is complete. And of course, we can't forget 8 stately manors, helping with both this, maxing it out, and just controlling unemployment. Of course, it's getting up to like 200 now, so I really want to complete this before it gets too problematic. So just 3 more loads of sandstone to come through, and of course we add up here our military stuff and this temple complex looking oh so nice right next to our small pyramid. And yeah, it went really quite well, I think. Let's just see, 8 more blocks. Come on, just give me another 2 2 sets of labourers, please. Yeah, it looks as if this mortuary is not really working effectively, but that's okay. It doesn't need to work effectively. And one library is pretty shit, but it's okay. We also had a Senate House built as well. Since I've never really explained it, the Senate House takes beer. And once the Senate House has beer, it sends out where is he? He's somewhere in there and I can't see them. Oh, you can see the scribes as well, by the way. But once the Senate House has got beer, it is counted as active and it will send out a Senate Master who will go and distribute stuff. But it looks as if these are now starting to run out of access to the Senate Master because it's not working as properly as it should, but that's okay. But there is a Senate Master that goes walking around providing access to Senate houses and the concept of Senate stuff as well. No, that's not him. But anyway, he's somewhere in there and I just can't see him, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Here comes the last 4 sandstone blocks. This Sun Temple complete. Let's just delete all of this. I did put down a Dynasty Mansion as well just to accumulate some funds if I should ever need them, which I should never need to. We'll just delete all of that. And this as well. That will solve some of this, but not completely. That's okay. I enjoyed building this city. It didn't take too long at all. It was actually quite heavily done across the first half of the part, so it's not too big of a deal. But it's 7,400, more than we needed. Let's save. And let's prepare, set off our burial provisions. 16 weapons, prepared earlier of course. 1600 pottery, of course prepared earlier. And 1,000 luxury goods which we prepared for setting up our elite block. The goals will complete very shortly. We also had our big farming community over here. We didn't even need to use this floodplain at all. And there we go. Waset is complete. We've built a lovely stately city that can shine as the capital for many years to come. For many more pharaohs to come as well. And we defend ourselves against the Hennesu threat. Let us proceed.
Through your diligence, you have fed a hungry people during a time of war and supplied the necessary reinforcements to defeat this enemy once and for all. Your accomplishments will not soon be forgotten.
They won't indeed. Look at that culture rating, 60. The first time we've been required to get a high culture rating. Max prosperity, max kingdom rating. So much money. Population of 7,400 on hardwood. We also built a temple, a sun temple and a small pyramid. Look at that score. 34,500 points. It's going to be quite high quite often now in the Let's Play because of the fact that the missions are going to require large populations, large culture, and you just have so much time to make money. So that was Waset. If you're interested in going into the next mission, which is a choice, you can click on the left hand card to head to Quebec, a military mission. Or if you want to head to a peaceful mission dealing with hunger again, you can head to Medic Khufu by clicking the card on the right. But for me, Sajuuk, that's going to be that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye now.